All right, guys, welcome to the Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit 2018 info webinar. So we have formally launched this about a couple of weeks ago. We had a Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit 2017 awards brunch, and it was amazing. We had a lot of people show up, about 30-something people, and we had participants that did this in 2017 come for what we call an awards brunch. So we had these little cheeky and naughty awards for people for various funny, humorous, adventurous, daring things, or just commendable accomplishments that people did along the mountain, just for us to really have that closure around it, because it was such a grand event for many people. And when you come down the mountain, for most of us, you don't get connected to really what you've just done. And it's now many months later, as people have been sharing and telling stories to people, they're like, "What, you did Kilimanjaro?" So really, it's been really quite a humbling experience, and it's been great to be able to reflect on it. So to set context, why we do it the way we do it, and why it's called Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as
Yvonne, you back on?
Yeah, I've just got it onto my computer.
Okay, so I'll just unmute you on your computer. You'll have to drop off one of the devices so there's no feedback.
Yeah, I'm going to do.
Okay, right. So I remember on one of our treks, one of our participants, I think Jag or Cheyenne or somebody said that, not all classrooms have four walls. And that's very true, because we learn so much from being outdoors. So to set context about what we do as distinct from just a climb, and doing it as a leadership summit, is this quote: "Earth and sky, woods and fields, lakes and rivers, the mountain and the sea are excellent schoolmasters and teach some of us more than we can ever learn from books." So a beautiful quote by John Lubbock. And like I say, what we're doing is not just a climb. Many people think, "Oh, I'm going to do Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm just going to go and summit the mountain." And what we're creating is that it's very distinct. Sorry, guys, I just got to close a particular window that's up there. Okay. Keep getting these notifications. All right. Excellent. Okay, sorry for that, guys. We are... There we are. So what we're doing is not just a climb, and we're doing this as a 9-day leadership summit, right? So very distinct from just going up to the top. And climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is not a technical climb. It is a walking trek. So most people don't really get that. What we're looking to do is effectively discover leadership in a tent, and we use the mountain as a phenomenal analogy. Every day on the mountain, who we are and how we are around people, when we are our most stretched, when we are most physically stretched, our most mentally strained, and we're able to operate on top of that and cause the success of continuing to go ahead and act in the face of all the adversity we may or may not face on a mountain. And many days are very good and pleasant and the most beautiful scenic things. We learn how to take that into our lives. We have people that joined this that did it for various areas or reasons that they're working on. So people may want to come on to say, "I'm doing this because I want to transform my health." And they have this mountain they're climbing 8-9 months from now as a carrot dangling that they want to do. Or they might be joining us because they want to work on their marriage, and they realize that, or they want to get into a relationship, and they realize that what's missing for them is commitment. And you learn from the mountain that however it is on certain days, if it's sunny, shiny, windy, if it's raining, we've just got an option to keep going, and this too will pass, right? And we end up getting through it, and we get through together. Kilimanjaro is a bucket list item, so it's one of the world's highest single standing. It is the world's highest single standing mountain. Everest is highest overall altitude, but it's a range of mountains, and Kilimanjaro is a sole mountain which is of this altitude. So it's 5,895 meters. To put that into context, planes fly at 30,000 feet. This is at 19,340. We have participants joining from all over. So a large number were from the UK, but we had people from Spain, Switzerland, Zambia, And this year also we're looking to have an international community, hopefully some from the US as well. We're going to have a 10-day leadership summit. So when I say 10-day, actually it's 10 nights, but 9 days. We're going to have 1 day of a workshop. We may have an evening prior to that. 7-day climb, and then 1 day of seva. So this is some form of community service and gratitude and reflection that we will be doing. And then you have to also arrive a day before, depart the day after. There could be, depending on your flight time, cases where, depending on your flight that you take and where you come from, you might come in through the night before day one, or you might want to leave the night at the end of the seva day. That's also something we can facilitate and arrange. But effectively, what we've included will be included. There are 30 plus leaders we're looking to take, and 60 of them are including, we'll have about 60 including the crew. So if we're going to be 30, sorry, we'll be about 75 including the crew. The ratio is of about 2.5, 2 to 2.5 to 1. So we're going to have quite a big number of support staff for us to get there to the top. Sorry, that would be 90 of us, right? 60 support plus the 30. We're looking to raise, last year we did a charity fundraiser. In 2014, when we did this, we also fundraised for charity. In 2014, we raised about £17,000. Last year, or this year, we've raised about £7,000. And so we're looking to up that, and we're doing a slight change in that we're going to invite each person to set up a fundraising page. And we will provide you with the template and the platforms to use and the charities, how to link them up and help you set that up. But once that's set up, we'll need you to work at your end to share and invite people to support and contribute to your 1,000 goal. Now, the 1,000 goal is not a legal requirement. We're not going to sue you if you don't make it. We would love you to do it as part of a challenge because we're committed to developing leaders. And part of developing leaders is people with the most energy, people with the most influence are people that get to win and negotiate various circumstances and situations in their lives. And if you learn that money is simply a medium of exchange and something that you get in exchange for some value you add out there, it's a conversation that we get to have with people to support and contribute to our fundraising. Our promise overall is that we give you one life transforming experience, and an added bonus is that you get to really connect with all these people and really become family at a different level. So that's what's happened with our 2014 crew. We're 22 of us. All of us are so very connected. You do just become so tight after such an experience. And the 2017 climb, again, everyone from there has just got on to another level. Okay, so before I go on, just the question. Okay. So Fatima and Yvonne, if you have any questions, just unmute yourself because I won't be checking any of the questions that come in on the chat. So just unmute yourself and ask. Okay, so a little bit background about me. Fatima, if you don't know, Yvonne does know. So I'm going to very quickly go over this though. I used to be in banking. I worked in banking and finance for about 12 years, and I lived what I thought was a successful life and career. I had zero complaints about the world in banking. I didn't have what I thought was a stressful job. But the byproduct of living that lifestyle was I ended up like this. I was overweight. I looked like I really aged very quickly. And I think internally there was this resignation that I couldn't do anything about this thing called health on my body. It was just a thing that happens. You either have it or you don't, like a lottery. And how wrong I was. And while I was living this lifestyle in 2013, shortly after we got married, we were expecting a baby, and 3 months into our pregnancy, we had a miscarriage. At that moment, we were out at the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh. And so while we were there for all this joy, happiness, celebration, everything came crumbling down. And I ended up stressing. And the next day, as a result of the stress, I had these heart palpitations. Umbi called the ambulance, and I ended up in A&E that night. So what followed was days and weeks of checks. And I just realized, wow, I'm growing up to be one of those guys that's going to have their wife and their kids nursing after them, looking after them. Dad, have you taken your medication? Are you going to do this? And I just thought, I am so not going to be that person. And the second thing is I can really do something about it. This can't be rocket science to understand our body. And so I began a host of research on nutrition, on workouts, on mindset coaching. How can we rewire our relationship to certain foods so we begin to love the foods that we think we don't love, and we begin to not be hooked by the ones that we think I can't live without chocolate, right? So whatever those are, how can I rewire? How can we rewire our brains? After doing loads of courses and training, I began my transformation, and I lost 70 pounds overall. And after losing 70 pounds, I had I really had a flurry of people reaching out to me because I shared my journey on Facebook and social media. Hey, what did you eat? How did you train? What did you do this? And so I was like, you know what? I'll coach you guys. And as I worked on coaching them, that was the birth of FITBANKER. What we offer is online health coaching, and we've coached a number of people from all over. This is a Harish from South Africa. This is Rebecca from Maidenhead. She was on a vegan plan. This is Ushma, who transformed her health and wanted to boost her fertility, and she now has she had one baby, and now she has four babies, all within 2 years. She had twins, so these are what I call the fit doctors. So the guys on the left have now lost. CJ's lost 53 pounds, and Jamie's lost 36 pounds doing this program, and they are doctors. So they go around running workshops, informing people about health, but they didn't look the piece, and now they've got to transform that. So we're committed to having people be their best. That's my personal commitment to people. And I bring this to the mountain. So if you join us on the mountain, I'm like there saying, Fatima, we got this. And if you're stuck with something along the way, I get to come and, crouch next to you and say, what's up? Let's talk. And we get you through a particular state, and we keep walking through. It isn't like you're going to battle. It is a very doable trek. Like I say, most of it is walking. Since we've done a program, 200 plus lives, we have done a program from 17 countries. Our focus is on health, which is how can we basically deal with the precursor to a lot of lifestyle diseases like high BP, high cholesterol, diabetes, cancers, and so on. And that is about getting our body to be its optimal self, right? How do we get to really tackle things like obesity? How do we get the most energy, the most strength? Since doing this, we have people do the program, they transform, they're like, this is a whole new, brand new me. Now what do I do? We started creating treks that we used to go through, monthly treks that we go on. We're going on one tomorrow, by the way, if anyone would like to join. We have retreats that we've done, and we're going to be doing more. And we bring in adventure and leadership development, right? So this Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit was last year, came out of this because we wanted to have something for people to grow into and to take on, something to aspire towards. And that was the birth of Kili. But overall, my ethos is, and what I live and breathe and operate by every day is, we've got one life and it's one beautiful world. What are we waiting for to really be at our peak and to go and really see the beauty of this world, right? So that's really what we're committed to. This is 2014. This is the group that summited in 2014. You can see me there in the front of the Manchester United shirt. I was about 100 kilos at the time when I did this one. So, you could be whatever weight isn't a barrier, but obviously the fitter you are, the better your chances of success. Now, you could be also very fit and not succeed, because one thing we can't train for is the altitude. So let's have a look at that. So the climb is 5,895 meters. Like I said, it's the world's tallest. We're going to do a 7-day route. We have previously done twice. I've done Machame route. I'm now looking at doing Rongai, which is a slightly different route. And on Rongai route, it's one of the routes where you will have, we could likely see some wildlife at the start, buffalo mainly. We will in total do between 62 to 80 kilometers, depending on the route that we take. On a daily basis, how much do we walk? We'll walk about 5 kilometers on certain days. And on summit day is the day where we walk the longest, because we start off at midnight, we walk through the night, we summit by about 9 or 10 in the morning, and then we start making our way down. And in total that day, we will walk about 17 kilometers. Now, 17 kilometers, you and me can go for a walk here today around the Thames, and we can do that in about 3 hours or so, right? 3.5 hours, we could easily do that. But on the mountain with altitude, we move a lot slower. So the 17 kilometers, will take us a good portion of the day on that particular day. However, we get built up for it. We get acclimatized with altitude and our fitness over the days. With good nutrition, with good rest, we are going to increase all our chances of summiting, right? The max we'll walk a day is 16 hours. Accommodation at base is provided. We have one of the most luxurious place we could stay at in Moshi, a place called Weru Weru Lodge, and we've partnered with the guys there. We're just speaking to them 2 days ago. We're discussing the menus. They have been taking people up for years, but they are still, from a nutritional standpoint, they provide what everybody else provides on the mountain. And what we're doing is we're bringing some of FITBANKER's nutrition to it. So we get some good foods included in inside the climb. So climate that we will go through is 5 terrains. So you'll go through a rainforest, you will go through what's called alpine heath, you will go through a part that looks like Mars or the moon. So if we are going to be moving to Mars, thanks to Elon Musk, you do want to come and have a look at what it will kind of look like. We will go from about 30 plus degrees at base and go up to, we could go, but that time of year it may be in the 20s. And we would, at summit, it could get negative 20 in the cold at night. So we obviously summit during the day, so we don't experience the cold that bad. It'll probably be about, 0 or 3, 4, 5 degrees feel. So much like we have here today in the UK. Equipment and gear. So we will provide you with a list of everything you need. And then you want to get it beforehand, so you start using it on the treks and the training up to. You want to break into things like your boots. On the climb, all the tents, all the mess tents, the chairs, everything gets provided by us. The mats that your sleeping bags go on gets provided by us. We also recommend the provider we're using now. Previously, we had to go where we had to take our own sleeping bags. The provider we're using now will provide you sleeping bags. However, I would recommend you get a sleeping bag liner. If you don't want to use their sleeping bags, you can still buy your own. So we can get them. They cost about £89 for the type that we need. Some of them cost £150 or £200, but we can get them at a discount of about 30. Last year, some people bought it for about £32. On the climb, anything that we'll need along the way, refreshments, food, water, all that gets provided by the team. There are guides, there are porters, there are people that are responsible for cleaning the toilets. There's a whole host of roles, and all of this is included in the climb. On day 8, this would be effectively day 9, which is the first day we get in, we'll do a workshop, and then 7 days we will do the climb, and then the 9th day we will go and do a day of gratitude and seva. So let's have a quick look at how 2017 went. These are photos from there. This is global community getting together, and we're all sharing. We get connected on Facebook, so you get to know that. The top image is Charlene, and this is other members of a gym training with her. She was the only one doing it, but other people joined. On the left is guys from my hometown, Kitwe. 3 of them came from there. The bottom is us in Brecon Beacons, a whole group of us training there. Top right is Emma from Spain and her son. And so it's really about connecting this global community. This is the day we were leaving, so day 0. We got to meet together at the airport, and it's great if we all on the same flight. We get to minimize anyone getting lost or different pickup times and stuff like that. So it's great to book on the same flight. We have a travel agent we use. He managed and held all bookings and people paying and whatnot through them. So we'll just directly refer you to them. And it was Emma's birthday, so we had a little cake for her, and then we all celebrated and we checked in and we took off. So this is Pam below from London, Hannah from Maidenhead, the guys from Zambia leaving. So it's all great sharing and connecting as we're going. While we're there, like I said, we're committed to developing leaders. Now, the way we do this is we really want people to get connected and discover the authentic, real self there. And so we have to peel away layers. So we have some exercises designed to allow us to get to know each other closer. We do what's called a life map exercise. We do a host of other icebreakers, and we also get to really distinguish what's in the way of each of us discovering our greatness. And more often than not, is this thing called judgment. So we do this little judgment game. And in life, when we're driving to do something, we're concerned about what will people think if I do it? What will people think if I don't do it? Right? If I make it, if I don't make it, every single day, that's the biggest thing connected to failure. And if we understand that and we deal with that, we get to be powerful to act in the face of it. So we do some sessions on that, and we do some training and checking of all the gear. That's Gavin below, who was the guide for that particular trip, but he won't be there on this one. This is day one. We are still doing all the prep there. As you can see, the dress code, very, very low standards. That's Amir Moshkur, who's giving a presentation in his little lungi, which is fun and interesting, telling us his story. There's Pam. It's a whole group of there. So this is day one now of the climb, and day two of the summit. We're going to through the gate. As we go through the gate, bottom right corner, you can see all the porters have to get their gear checked in and weighed to make sure that there is nothing too heavy. They shouldn't carry more than 15 kilos, more than 20 kilos or so per person, and we shouldn't pack more than 15 kilos in our main bags. So they have to weigh everything in. Now, there are many tour companies, operators, or individuals who take people up there, and they really damage and injure things like their posture and their spine and their back, taking it up. And we don't want to be working with such providers because it's quite exploitative. And while the porters will do it because they need money now to feed their family and pay their rent, it doesn't work for them longer term. So we'd rather work with guys that really do take care and provide and operate at a certain level of standard. And that's who we will be going with. We will also be going with companies where we get to directly tip and give the guides and porters, because you will see, you will fall in love with your guides and porters for what they do. So top left corner is what everyone looks like smiling before we go. This is along the climb. We're going to the rainforest bit. We stop over for a stretch, a bit of a pep talk. We keep going. That's us going through. So it starts off the tarmac before it goes into like gravel. The road disappears. This is the alpine heath, so you can see by the trees. It's very evergreen type trees. This is day 3. We're at a place called Shira Camp, and we're leaving in the morning. So this is right on the edge of clouds. So you basically have a sea of clouds in front of you. You can see that in Pam's picture, the bottom left. And this is what the tent looks like inside. So this is, 12, 13 of us cuddled around the tent, getting some nice, good, warm food and our breakfast in, and good, slow burning carbohydrates for the day. This is us along the way. Amir with his tea, and we used to get some nice ginger tea to help with things like inflammation. And we will be having similar as we go on this particular climb. And this is now going from a place called Barranco or Barranco Wall. There's a wall that we climb across, and then we go to a camp called Karanga Camp. The weather is kind of, it could be anything. On day 1, when we went through this rainforest, which it doesn't show here, it actually rained quite bad. It rained for 2 hours. And many of us, because it started very hot, like a nice, hot, humid day, we didn't carry our waterproofs. We thought, no, it's not going to change. The mountain has its own weather forecast. Within 5 kilometers, it changes. Within 10 kilometers, it changes. And so a lot of us got wet. The main lead guide, he had all his gear. We had waterproofs. We pulled them out. We put them on. But we didn't have an umbrella. And an umbrella is a very simple thing that we should carry. Most of us, we were told about it. We all said it's optional. But most of us thought, you know what, my waterproofs will suffice. Well, we learned the hard way. We got soaked, and so did our clothes. And the next day, we even started off with some of our clothes still wet or boots wet. But, some people got an award for that as well. So it was all good fun and games. This is us at Karanga Camp. You can see Kibo there in the background. And Kibo is the main peak on top of Kili that we're working towards. So in life, when we get to keep looking at our vision and we keep present to that visualization on what we're trying to create, whether you want to create some way of being or living inside of your marriage or a particular career or a particular body or getting into a relationship, whatever the area is you wish to transform, you've got to kind of get your mind to visualize what this is. And if we don't, and looking at it as a regular reminder knows that is encouraging that we're going in the right direction. Okay, so this is day 6. We're at Karanga. This is the morning after we're leaving. You can see there's this bed of clouds. We've now gone through about 2 or 3 tiers of clouds by the time we're here at day 5. We are at an altitude of 3,992 and we're going up to about 4,663 on this particular day. This is going from Karangu to Barafu. Barafu comes from the Hindi word baraf, which means ice, and that's where a lot of Swahili words have also got a lot of Hindi and Gujarati influence from a lot of the Asian community that have been there for many generations, including my ancestors. And we go through this terrain, which kind of looks like the moon, as you can see, or Mars. It's very, very dark black soil, and then you have silt that's running down it, and we're just walking through, and you get to see this very clear path where you're heading to. You can see it, but it does take you quite a while walking through, and it's a good, very enjoyable paced walk, very comfortable walk. And we're doing this because we want our body to get used to and acclimatized to walking and operating at a certain altitude, so that our body knows how to take in oxygen at that altitude, how to break down food at that altitude, and how to provide energy to our body. That effectively is what we need to get used to train. This is inside one of the tents. Bottom right is Pablo from Switzerland. And this is more of what that terrain looks like. So we're walking to the top of the end of this, where the mountain hits the skyline. And this is us arriving at Barafu camp. So this is the whole group arriving there. I mean, one of the batches of the group. So this is 5 of us there. And you get in at the back, you can see people are signing into that little wooden lodge. Everyone has to check in when they get to each new campsite. We then, this is another group. So that, like I said, there are many ways you can do it. This is a father and son that came from the US. I don't know where they came from, whether Arizona or Alaska or somewhere. But they've come from the US. They're doing this trek. This was his son's 200th trek. He's 16 years old. The dad's about 43. And it was so cool seeing father and son do it. But also it puts into perspective the benefits of doing it with a large group like us, because the son was walking alone for a long part of it. We met him along the way. We got chatting. We were waiting for his dad, and I did a little interview and photo shoot with him. And we can also we could also do it that way. And they end up having one guide. They ended up cooking for themselves. They did a 4-day route, so it took a certain level of fitness for them to be able to do it. And they've, like I said, that's his 200th mountain, so they've been doing quite a lot elsewhere. But you need to, you kind of get what you pay for, right? So these guys did a very budget plan, and what we're going for is something that is quite mid-tier to luxury, right? Not the uber top end. And the uber top end, it doesn't get too much more luxurious, but people can charge up to £16,000 for a single person for a climb. Or I know somebody that's paid that sort of money to go up Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay, so this is now Barafu. We leave at night. So this is Barafu, where we are. When we go from here, we spend that afternoon. We have supper, we have lunch, we have supper. We go to sleep at 7 p.m. We wake up at 11 p.m. at night. At midnight, we start off with our head torches, walking through the dark. And as we're walking through the dark, we're walking all night. It gets really cold. It does get lonely at certain times. And we come here, and this is what we see when the first sun comes out. It's around about 6 o'clock. That first sun comes out, and it feels amazing to get that warmth on the back of your neck. This is Mawenzi Peak, which is a little peak jutting off alongside on top of Kili. And we get up to the top of the rim. This is, again, more people taking pictures of the first sun. This is Pam. It's so beautiful. It is the most... it really takes your breath away. It really, like, no pictures. I can show you guys so much more video and photos, but nothing can ever justify what Kilimanjaro was. This is the first summit, or when we got to the rim of Kilimanjaro, the crater. Remember, Kilimanjaro was a volcano Inside there to the right here is the crater, and we still need to walk around. So if you see the rocky bits behind us, the highest point of it is where we need to get to. That's called Uhuru Peak. Now, many people mentally and emotionally, when they reach this one and they see this sign and they look into the rim, they think, I'm at Stella Point, I've reached. They mentally and emotionally collapse. They think, I can't go anymore and I just need to get down right away. But from here, you need to actually go to Uhuru Peak. And so this is, you can see the altitude is written there, 5756. We still want to do, we want to get to 5895. So we want to get another 140 meters higher in altitude, but it's about a 45-minute walk, right? So normally it would probably take us 15 minutes to walk it, but the pace that we're doing, it will take us 45 minutes. So we keep walking through, and many people turn back there, which is they miss out on this beauty, which is, well, this is Charlene, also beauty, but there's the ice glaciers that are there on the top, and they are monstrosities. This photo and no picture will actually tell you how big these are, but basically you want to think about it as Frozen, that cartoon, those big snow ice castles. That's effectively what you get to see, a number of them, and it is just amazing. This is now the first group getting to the actual summit, Uhuru Peak, and everyone gets to get their pictures, soul picture with the group, whatever it is you want to do. You can bring your country's flags, people from Zambia, people from UK. She's also from, now I'm exposing myself. I don't know where the other flag is from. I don't know if it's Guyana or Trinidad.
Is it Guinea? Guinea, I think Pam was saying to me. Guinea, that's where her partner's from.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, Guinea.
I thought it was Guinea. I thought it was African, but now I'm just thinking she's not from Guinea, and I thought it was from somewhere else. Anyway, so so she gets to bring her flags, and others get to bring their company's flags. So Charlene runs Busybody's Gym, and this is her, and she got to make this. It says Conquers Mount Kilimanjaro, 23rd November 2017. And to be honest, while we say such words, or while we use that conquers Mount Kilimanjaro, we never really conquer the mountain. We have to conquer ourselves as we know ourselves to be, to go, right? And whether that means, you get confronted, you break down emotionally, someone gets angry at you. At a particular altitude, we get what's called hypoxia, which means your mind is thinking, I am physically and mentally under threat. And you begin to become very snappy, and you could easily say a lot of loose cannon things which you don't need to say. And so because I'm doing it a second time, it's interesting because I get to see people going through it and I get to laugh it off. And it was just fun. Anyway, so we get to the top and the summit, and it's the best thing ever. So 10 of us get there, and there's there's 12 of us in total. Sorry. So the first 10 of us get there, the 11th comes, and then we're waiting for the last one. Everyone here is getting a bit paranoid about how long they can stay up. You can stay up for about an hour easily, an hour and a half, but everyone wants to rush down. So they start going down. I said, go for it. And I'm going to wait for Simran. Now, Simran is the person who was most overweight in our team. She was 113 kilos when she did the FITBANKER challenge. By the time she signed up for Kili, she was 108. And by the time we went to Summit, she was 93. So she was 20 kilos lighter doing Kilimanjaro. And I said, I'm not turning back till I see Simran. And I left Simran in the night through the dark going up. I said, whatever happens, when you get to Stella Point, you might think I'm turning back. I'm going to wait for you at the final peak at Uhuru. So you better come there. And so indeed she did. And so when she finally started walking, I literally broke down emotionally because I thought, of all of us, one person's not going to make it. And some people just, you have to live with that for life. And I will be straight with you. I am, and many people are, secretly attached to summiting, but really it's not about summiting. It's about, we talk about this the night before we start. It's about, have we given our best? Are we truly, really spent? And we will share a number of elements of science and psychology behind it to tell you that we really aren't. When we think we're finished, we still have 75% left in our tank. And Simran was a great demonstration of that. She never at one point ever said she couldn't. Many people that look at her and perceive her as overweight or big or large may think that she couldn't, but those are only people's interpretations. That's not the reality. for as long as she was mentally clear she's doing this. She may have moved at her own particular pace, but she did it. And all through the night, she has a guide with her. We all have trained guides, very safe, secure on the mountain. We use a lot of guides that have good and great English speaking. The one that we're going to have as our lead guide for this particular climb is going to be one of the most experienced current guides that does Kilimanjaro. He's done Mount Aconcagua. He's done a whole host of things. So he's one of the top guys that we could possibly wish for. And he'll have loads of stories to tell us. Now, whatever goes up must come down. And normally when you go down, you walk back down after you've done that. So this is a big reminder that everyone said I must tell people, because many of them kind of finished their energy to get to summit, and then they're like, Ronnie, you didn't tell us that we still need so much more energy to go down. And so I'm like, well, how else were we going to come down? So they told me, when you tell people about 2018, remind them they also have to know to come down. So I'm reminding you guys, whatever goes up must come down. So these people, most of us walked down. It's how we did in 2014, 2017, most of us. But then one of us, and I can bring a bit of light humor to it, was Pamela, who we saw in the previous pic. She got really physically spent. Her legs got very tired and knackered, and it happens, and you can get fatigue. Now, you can fall unwell, which means you might have issue with your brain swelling, your lung swelling, or something like that, which is a real medical risk, and we will take you out quickly, stretcher you off the mountain. This is what a stretcher looks like, but she was just fatigued. So we needed to get some real exception to allow the rangers to use this stretcher. This is what the stretcher looks like. And we had to have about 6, 7 of them taking us down. Anyway, we got down to the next camp. We had supper that night, and the next day we finally go down. This is us coming down. This is the bottom saying congratulations. Everyone's there. We have a big tipping party with all the porters. So this is a team of 46 porters, including all of us. So the whole group got together, about 60 of us in total, 46 of them plus 13 of us. So 59 people in total, including just the 13 that are going up to summit. That night we go out for a party, so we had a dinner. Moshi is one of those small towns, but some of the restaurants were notoriously slow and late with bringing food. But it was a laugh. We were enjoying, we were laughing. Coming down that mountain, in my view, is the real definition of what elation feels like. If somebody said, can you tell me we've ever felt elated? It was 2014 when I first came down Mount Kilimanjaro. The size in your mind of what you have done, it still hasn't hit you, but you're like, wow, what have we done? And you just haven't got present to it. And this was 2017 for everybody. We're really bubbling, like, what did we just do? And it was really amazing. We went out for a great dinner. We went out for a few drinks after that, went out for a little partying. Nobody got really drunk per se. We're all physically tired, but we still mentally want to keep going and acknowledge ourselves for what we've done. The next day, we have an early start. We get ready, and we're going for the fundraising project. So this is a school that we were fundraising for. We get to go up there. We're explaining to everybody what it is we're doing, why we did what we did, how much we fundraised. The guy in the right side here with the blue top is the chairman of it. He was actually one of our guides on the climb. He's somebody who's gone through this charities education system from a slum to training as a guide, and now being one of the main guides on the group. And these are also kids that are there. So we all got to come there. People wanted to give them sweets for the day. And we just got to share what we're up to, and people were translating. These are the kids really excited. It was a Sunday. They all came in on their uniform just to meet us. And there's a particular school which has nursery, year 1 and year 2. And now they are looking to go to year 3. So we're looking to build a year 3 classroom. That's what we are fundraising for. Okay, so this is after the safari, after the fundraising, there's an optional safari we can do. So if you have never been to Africa, even if you have, I've grown up in Africa. I have literally grown up in Africa. At the age of 25, I moved to London. I have never been on such a phenomenal safari. So if anyone wants to come, I highly recommend you also join and take on the safari option. If you're doing Kilimanjaro and the safari costs a lot less if you're booking both together. And there are no stops in terms of compromising on quality that we're doing. We literally got everything beautiful. You get to see most of the wildlife. We got to see 4 out of what's called the Big 5. And bottom left here is a example of our cars that we use, the trucks that we use that have open rooftops, so you can open and see right through as we're driving. This on the bottom right is on the edge of Ngorongoro crater. We're looking into it. Our hotel and the rooms were on the edge of Ngorongoro crater. Along the way between Ngorongoro crater and Serengeti, we go and pass a host of Maasai land, and this is one of the Maasai villages that we get to go to. We go in, they do a bit of a dance, a welcome, we get to see them, meet them, interview them, and then we basically, you might want to buy stuff from their Maasai market, and then we carry on our journey. This is getting to see the big five. This is like about maybe 2 meters away from my hand. This lion, maybe 3 meters, and we've had previously in the car, another lion walked right next to us, its tail literally brushing the outside of the car. And I'm looking out over the top of that open rooftop, looking down at it. So I've got a video of that, which is really, truly epic. Okay, so that's what it is. This is all about you will move mountains, investing in your leadership. This is about you and developing you as a leader. You will never find the right time in life to do something like this. The right time is always now, right? We will always be busy. We will always have stuff on. We'll always have something else planned for the year, family, kids, and travel and promotions and moving house. And that stuff is always going to happen. You have to live in this moment, right? So we're looking to do this time 7-day, either Rongai or we might do Machame route again. It's a 10-day leadership summit, including the 10 nights rather. We are going to fundraise for charity. We're also doing a tree planting project. So we're going to do that on the 7th day. We're going to do some, this is something new we've introduced. We'll be fundraising individually. We have real luxury accommodation, and the meals along the way are all FITBANKER approved. You get to really connect with global family and one life transforming experience. So this is a look at where we stayed in terms of accommodation. You can see it's really, really beautiful. This is they've got a lovely pool there. So pool is obviously subject to the weather at that time of the year. Hopefully it will be good. And this is the route that we'll be doing. This is Machame. If we do Machame, this is the route we'll be doing. You can see we start off at 1800, and just to give you a sense of why it takes 7 days, we go straight away at 2-kilometer elevation. We go from 1800 to Machame camp. So the first night we go 1200 meters high, we sleep there. Then we go from 3800 meter elevation to 3.8. Then for the next 3 days, we're just touching 4.6. We go to Lava Tower, we don't sleep there. So it's a principle called trek high, sleep low. So we'll go up to 4.6, and then we will sleep at Barranco at 3.9 altitude. So that day we've only ascended about 100 meters, right? From Barranco, we again walk and we ascend only 100 meters to Karanga. Then we go that day, which I showed you the part that looks like the moon, we go to 4,600 Barafu. From Barafu, midnight we start, summit to 5895. We come all the way down to Barafu. We have lunch at Barafu. We don't sleep there. And this is where Pam was really tired, and we had to get the stretcher to go from Barafu down to Mueca camp. So stretcher shouldn't, I'm not sharing it with you to say, in case you're tired, order a stretcher. I'm just sharing it with you to say that we need to physically and mentally nourish ourselves to make this happen. And from Mueca, we go down to Mueca village. Okay, so this is another view of that mountain. This is all the north side of the mountain. Rongai route comes from the south side of the mountain. If we did this one, Machame, we will get to cross Barranco Wall, which is something people love. It's a very good highlight. This is what it looks like from the top, looking at Mawenzi, one of the camps. Truly beautiful. Okay, so you may have questions around, can I do this, can I not? So who can or who can't do it? Well, firstly, in terms of age, the lower age limit is 10. We know somebody who's an 8-year-old girl, British girl, did it last year at 8. We recommended somebody I personally know. He was 9 years old and recommended him, and he summited. The upper age limit there is no upper age limit. So this is an 86-year-old woman who did it, a Russian lady. She did it a few years ago. How fit do you need to be? They say it's more painful than childbirth, and my wife, who's done both, kind of confirms that. But at the same time, it's very doable, just as childbirth is, right? If childbirth was such a killer, people wouldn't have more than one baby, but they do. You can do this all shapes and sizes, right? You might have a point of view about your fitness or opinion, but if you're signing up today, you get to start to train. We have a trek tomorrow, we have a trek every month up to, or most of the months up to Kilimanjaro, right? We will tell you, as somebody who runs a health and fitness organization, I will really get on a phone with you and say, look, can you go out and be doing this amount of walks every week, right? Do a 3 kilometer walk daily, do a 5 kilometer twice a week, go on a weekend and do a 10K as an example. You are not training for a marathon. So that's a good thing to know. Training for a marathon is harder than training for Kilimanjaro, right? Training for a marathon, I'll repeat that. People that do London Marathon have to train a lot more harder than somebody going to do Mount Kilimanjaro. However, somebody that can do a marathon does not necessarily mean they can do Mount Kilimanjaro. Here's a classic example. Martina Navratilova. She went up Mount Kilimanjaro. She is the uber athlete in the world of fitness. She's a top tennis player, yet she couldn't summit. She had to come down, and she had to come down because she couldn't handle altitude, and she also had a stomach bug. Now, you can be as fit as you think you need to be, as fit as you want, but the mountain doesn't have mercy when it comes to altitude. And even though I've summited twice, I might go again and I could be hit with altitude sickness and may have to turn around or turn down, right? So there's no real guarantee on that. So I invite you guys to consider that however fit you think you are or think you aren't, you can do Kilimanjaro, right? This is a lot about mental versus physical fitness. We will be physically spent every day. You will be physically finished. But your mind, you will realize, wow, how amazing this thing called my mind is. And if you can take on this mountain, you truly can take on anything and everything. We will do a number of checks in the tent. We will check things like your oxygen level. If need be, if need be only, if somebody's not well, we will check things like your BP and other stuff. And like I said, there's a way to get you down from any part of the mountain to the nearest part where an ambulance can get to within about 3 or 4 hours, and you go to one of the local hospitals or clinics there. You can't control altitude sickness. Many people do a lot of these high altitude mountains taking this medication called Diamox. We do them without. We do them with good nourishment, good nutrition, good rest, and we have, last time, 21 out of 22 got to Stella Point, 20 out of 22 got to final summit. This time 100%, all 13 of us did it, all 12 of us did it. And I keep saying 13 and 12. 13 included this lead guy who was doing it the 53rd time. So not counting him, the rest of us who were doing it as clients or FITBANKers were 12 of us. You can get cerebral edema. You can get pulmonary edema. Pulmonary edema is your lungs, where your lungs aren't functioning at a particular thing, and you actually start coughing out blood, which is bits of your lungs. Cerebral edema is where your brain starts swelling. These are very rare things that happen, and we counter them by doing a 7-day. If you try to go and do a 4-day one, right, the chances of those things happening is increased. So 7-day, we're really trying to reduce that. Sorry, I covered all this as well. I just want to flag what else is included. All the meals on the climb, breakfast at base. So we will only pay for lunch and dinner if we go out somewhere while staying at the base. We carry a portable toilet. There are built-up toilets along the way, but we carry an additional chemical toilet or two, depending on the number. We will also get a shower that we will take, a solar shower. There will be training and nutrition guidance from me. So as we go on treks, like tomorrow we're going on a trek. If you're part of our WhatsApp group, there's a WhatsApp group if you'd like to join for upcoming treks, then you can join on that one. And whenever we're on our treks, I will share with people what to pack, what not to pack, how to eat, how to break down food, and so on. How to make our bodies efficient machines in converting food into energy. There's a gear and equipment list. So the recommended brands that we have, we will provide that full list to you. We get phenomenal discounts from Cotswolds, from Cycle Surgery, from Runner's Need, from Zakti, from Mountain Warehouse, between 15 and 20%, right? And to get 20% off something that's already on sale is a very big saving. Like I gave an example, the type of bag, sleeping bag we need costs £89. People were buying it for 32, right? That's a very big difference. In 2014, I went very uneducated. I said, I'll do this on my own. I don't need people to tell us. Me and my friend get together. We use this particular company. No guidance from them on where to buy, what to buy. No regular meetups. We were just going to meet them on the day we landed in the country, and it was. I paid about £700 worth of gear. This time, people got all their gear in about £400. Within £400, they got everything. So, you really can do it wisely, or you could do it in a way that is kind of trying to penny wise, pound foolish, and you also compromise on the experience. Doing it as a group and the place we're staying and I'm not saying this right now because it's not locked in, but we're basically looking to, and Yvonne, you want to remember this, we're looking to arrange, and it will depend on the numbers, firewalk experience. I don't know if you guys have ever done firewalking with Tony Robbins' World. We're going to be doing that at the base of the mountain before we go. So let's see how it goes. And we'll provide you with FITBANKER t-shirts for training, and you'll use them on Kilimanjaro as well. What's not included is your own clothing, your accessories, your snacks, all that stuff you will carry. Things like if you wanted to carry your own protein bars or particular painkillers or supplements or whatever, that's up to you. You book your own flight. We will connect your travel agent. I can give you an example. There were people that came last year that paid £800 for their flight, and there were people like me who paid £393. And there was somebody like Pam, she paid £350 return ticket from here to Kilimanjaro and back, £350, which is nuts. So you can really, if the sooner you move, you win twice. You need to budget to carry £100 cash for the tips, and you need to carry cash for your meals for the days in and about there if you want to buy souvenirs and whatnot. Okay, so how much does this cost? It's $2,900. We're doing it for. It was actually $3,500. We've had a strong pound so far. For as long as it doesn't change, we will be able to continue to honor this price. The pound has really strengthened against the dollar. Most travel internationally is often quoted in US dollars, especially in Africa. And so instead of 3,500, we're able to do it 2,900. However, we need to lock certain things in. Like I need to lock in my flight. We need to lock in accommodation. We need to make sure they're booked in so that nobody takes them. So there's what I call the cornerstone climbers, which is the first 10 people that commit. We are sponsoring 10% of that. So if you're one of the first 10, and if you sign up today, there are a few left, there are already people signed up, then you get to get 10% off there. So it becomes £290 off. So you get to pay 2,610. And what else I want to cover? Yeah, just have to flag the risks. There's no guarantee on summiting. There's an increased chance of doing it with the route that we're going to use, plus the number of days we're taking. We can have illness, injury along the way, and weather that we can't forecast. But there's no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. So we will do what it takes to increase our chances of success and take it up the mountain. We will also have additional support team. So I had here, this was for last year, a lecturer on the leadership summit that we had. We may have a video guy or camera guy that we will take up the mountain to capture the journey. That would be really, really amazing if we could get that. But that will also depend on numbers. Nonetheless, we took our own photos and videos, and I'll be sharing between now and end of this year a lot of that content. Okay, my view is we can have a phenomenal 2018. We could go and buy a new car, a new house. We could get our nails done. We could do a lot of lovely things, but that isn't us. What really makes us is the stories we tell. Whether you're in a corporate role, whether you're a leader out there in the world, whether you're part of a network marketing group, whatever you are, your view, the way you're perceived by others, is the stories you tell. And you get to create amazing stories by filling your life with beautiful experiences, not with things. So I really invite you guys to join and to be part of this awesome, awesome experience. Any questions, guys, from you guys?
I have just sorry, one quick question, please. In terms of do you need to do like a health check or something before you go, or ourselves, or
no need
to make sure that?
No, I mean, do you have any health condition you're concerned about?
No. But I just wanted to know whether, in terms of anything, I don't know.
No,
maybe on the line or whatever else.
No, Don't worry about it. Don't. In fact, unless you have a concern, unless you think you have something, there's nothing that your doctor is going to look for and tell you, right? If you have
Mhm.
things like vertigo, right, which is at altitude, certain things happen to you, then you want to go and check. If you have things like pacemaker in your heart, go and check that. Ask, can I do it with my pacemaker? If you have uh, faulty kidneys, right, because they get impacted with altitude, you may want to go and check that, right? But people with asthma, as an example, they also do better at high altitude climbs. So you might have a condition where it works to your advantage. Um, yeah, so you don't really need to do any health check. If you can walk with me on a trek, Yvonne, for 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers, the answer is you can do Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Are
fine.
you joining us
I've
tomorrow,
got
by
used
the
to
way?
think about heights. Hmm? Sorry?
Are you joining us for the trek tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah. I've signed up for tomorrow. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So are we meeting you at Victoria Station then?
No. I was because I live this side, so I was just gonna go via Clapham Junction, and then pick up the train from there.
Oh, got it. Okay. Awesome. Okay.
So the
Who
train,
else?
the train from my house to Clapham Junction then goes to Victoria. So there's no point me going to Victoria. I might just go straight from Clapham Junction.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Okay. So, Fatima, any questions?
No questions, Ronnie, but yeah, it's good information about Kilimanjaro. And if there is anything, I'll definitely WhatsApp you. I mean, it's something I want to do this year. I've been saying it for years. I'm again from Kenya, from Nairobi. Been
Oh,
here for
awesome.
10 years.
I
Kilimanjaro is the
love
only one
Nairobi.
that I haven't done. Yeah. So I've done Kenya. I've done Mount Kenya. It's just Kilimanjaro that I've always wanted to do. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to do it this year. So I will definitely be in touch with you.
Okay, amazing. It would be lovely to have you join. And just a reminder, this is so miles away distinct from any climb, just doing it as a climb. And we're really making a big party and shebang out of it. So it would be really great if you could join. We had a number of people join us in 2014, a few from Kenya. I was living in Kenya for a few months before that climb, so I went from Kenya straight. And we are really, like, if you see the lodge that we're staying at, and we're working with the same family that owns that lodge, own the tour company. They are really partnering with me at a level I've not experienced. They're buying stuff that they don't normally have for us, so the solar shower and additional stuff that we're going to incorporate. But it would be really amazing if you could, if you could join us. And if you do move quick, then you will get to be one of the early ones. If you'd like to,
Yeah.
if you would like to sign up right away, or when you decide, and Yvonne as well, let me know, because I'm trying
Hmm.
to sort out a little glitch with PayPal. You can go and sign up on the website, but right now it's charging a £72 fee when you make the payment. The 2,610 price, or any price, is, £300 is non-refundable for admin expenses we will incur. But so just letting you know about that beforehand. And if you do want to take up the sale, the 2610, it has to be paid in full. If you wanted to pay in installments and you pay 1,000 down and the balance later, you can also do that. And that's for the 2,900. So if you paid 1,000 down, you have to make the rest of the payments up to 2,900 by 31st August.
I think for me, I'm just a bit, I'm in a dilemma at the moment. I need to leave the kids probably with my mom in Nairobi or my in-laws in Mombasa, and I have to figure out if they're going to be there, or, and then I could probably join you from Kenya after I've dropped them. But as soon as I've heard back from them, I just wanted to get the dates from you and to know, about the whole thing. Then I can get in touch with them to see if they're okay to be with the kids for those 10 days.
Okay.
And then I can probably join.
Okay, just so you know, we have somebody joining us from Mombasa as well. That's likely. And if I were to, one of the options you can do, which many people do, we had somebody do this last time, is fly to Nairobi. If you were to leave family there maybe 2 or 3 days earlier, then there's a bus
Yeah.
that comes straight to Moshi. And if you want to do the bus, or you do the flight, right? Flight to Kilimanjaro. One thing we include that others don't, we will sort out your airport transfer. So whether you came by flight or bus, we will arrange your pickup wherever you arrive.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, you just need to arrive on the 29th of November and 30th November. This all starts. So,
Brilliant.
okay.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you definitely.
All right. Excellent. Yvonne, anything else from your end?
No, that's fine, Ronnie. If there's anything, I'll let you know tomorrow. But okay for now. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. Thanks both for being on, and have an
One
awesome
more
rest of the
question.
day and weekend.
That's what's one more question.
Yes, yeah, sorry, no, I just wanted to ask you, you know, these treks that you do, I'd love to join because I'm all the way here in Birmingham.
Okay.
I just wanted to know how I could, you know, maybe if I join your WhatsApp group, you can just, I
Yeah,
could just follow
join
up.
the
You don't
WhatsApp
do it.
group. It has the dates and the locations for the rest of the treks for the year, and then you can see which ones you can make. We're doing 2 of them in Wales, which are not to be missed. We're doing Mount Snowdon and Brecon Beacons, and they are beautiful. And we get to stay in a very. We aim to keep our treks a very low budget so that more people can join, and they're just great weekends away. So yeah, feel free to, if you can just message me directly. I will send you. Do you have my number from the 5 a.m. chat?
I have also got in touch with you before for the Kilimanjaro thing, so I do, yes, I do have your number.
All right, perfect. Okay, so if you just send me that message, I will send you the link for the WhatsApp group for the treks, and then you can join it.
Brilliant. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Yvonne.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
bye.
see you
Have a great
tomorrow.
weekend. See you tomorrow, Yvonne.
You too. Okay, yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.